Hi, Recharged friends. Welcome to my kitchen. Wait, it's not my kitchen. I can fix that. Ooh, this is definitely not my kitchen. Let's try that again. Hi everyone, it's Miss Michelle. I'm the dietitian at the ShopRite of Enfield. I hope we've met before, but thank you for joining me on this Friday night for Recharged. And tonight we have 3 recipes to go through tonight, and they're all kitchen-friendly staples that we should have in our house, hopefully, and we shouldn't have to run out to get a lot of materials, but you could probably work with what you have on hand. So the first recipe is going to be roasted chickpeas, and we're doing 2 flavors. We're doing cinnamon and brown sugar, as well as ranch. So do you guys like those flavors?
Yeah.
Is that going to work for you? Okay. The second recipe is homemade potato chips and veggie chips. Do you guys like chips?
Yeah.
You good with chips? And the third recipe is yogurt bark with some mix-ins with fruit and chocolate chips. So I hope you'll hang out with me and enjoy these recipes.
Mommy, can we try the yogurt and the other stuff we're gonna make?
Yes, I hope you try everything.
Okay. Wow.
So before we get cooking, we always pull back our hair if we have long hair. We can throw on an apron to keep ourselves nice and clean. And what else should we do before we cook?
Wash our hands.
Thank you. So for our first recipe, we're going to make some roasted chickpeas. So roasted chickpeas are awesome because they're so versatile. They don't have a lot of flavor until you add something to them. So the 2 flavors that we're going to try today will be more of a savory flavor with ranch seasonings. And the second will be a sweeter combination of cinnamon and brown sugar. And we'll add a little hit of sea salt to add, help the flavors pop. So the first step in making roasted chickpeas is you open your cans of chickpeas, you rinse them, and then you have to dry them as much as possible. So I'm letting mine sit on paper towels, and then I actually take some extra paper towels and I kind of roll them out gently, and you'll see that there's little husks on these chickpeas. So you just take the husk off and you add the chickpea to your sheet pan. So this can be time consuming. So we'll fast forward past this, and we'll make sure we clean these up and get them as bone dry as possible. But what we're going to do at this point is just go ahead and put them in as dry as possible in a 400-degree oven for 15 minutes. And when the 15 minutes is up, we get to add our seasonings. So on half of the chickpeas, we're going to add a tablespoon of cinnamon with 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. We added just a little bit of sea salt to make the flavors again just pop. And then on the other half of the batch, we're going to add some ranch seasoning. And actually on both sides, we're going to add just a little bit of olive oil so all the flavors seem to seep throughout all the chickpeas. So that's the plan, but we're going to check in 15 minutes. So I've taken out the chickpeas, and to each bowl, we'll add just a little drizzle of your favorite oil. We'll stir those around a little bit. So these are evenly covered with the oil. And I do like to use avocado oil because you can use it at higher temperatures like we're using today. To half the batch, we'll add some seasoning here. Mix that in, get it evenly coated. You can go a little bit lighter on the seasoning, you can go a little bit heavier. And if it's still not heavy enough for you, after this 15-minute cooking period, you can add even more ranch dressing or ranch seasoning to it. So then to our sweeter batch, we'll add about half to 2/3 of our cinnamon and sugar mixture here. We'll give that a nice toss. That looks perfect. So we'll go ahead, we'll add this back on to the parchment paper. We'll try to get it in a single layer as much as possible. Give it a little shake. It smells awesome. And it goes in for just another 15 minutes. Still at 400 degrees. And we'll check back in then. So the timer went off and I had cracked the oven for just a few minutes. That helps the chickpeas to be even crunchier. Because the last thing you want is super crunchy outside and a doughy inside. So we've got the cinnamon and sugar chickpeas on the right, and on the left you have the ranch chickpeas, and both of them look awesome. So we're gonna let them cool for a little bit, then we're gonna let the kids try and see what they think. Okay, so our chickpeas are completely done. They're still a little warm, but everybody's really excited to try them. So I think the ranch needs just a little bit of a sprinkle here. So we toss that in. Does that look perfect?
Yeah.
I think that does. And then the sweet version needs another little sprinkle in there too. That also looks and smells perfect. So who wants to try this one?
Me.
Okay, put your hands out. Tell me what you think.
Me.
Livy, you're next.
Me. Really yummy.
You want one too? Can you try it? Okay.
I love them. Me too.
What do you think?
I love them.
You love them?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to try the other ones? Okay. All right, hands out. These are going to taste like a Cool Ranch Dorito, but way better, way healthier. They actually have protein. They have fiber.
More.
They're plant-based. They're so yummy. Which one did you like the most?
That one.
You like that one even better?
More.
No way! Both of them. You like the ranch too? Wow, it's unanimous. So the second recipe is the homemade chips. So we picked some root vegetables. This is a parsnip. We don't have to skin this. This is a sweet potato, so we just want to wash and scrub this as well as the parsnip. And then we have a beet. So you want to wash this. We'll chop off the end of the root.
No.
We'll chop off the beet greens, which you can put aside and you can cook that up later and enjoy, but you don't have to take the skin off this either. So what you ultimately want to do is take either a grater or a mandolin, and I'm using a cutting glove here because I get to be a little bit careless in the kitchen. So I'm gonna make sure I keep my hands safe. So what I ended up doing was taking my beet, and I have an attachment to my veggie spiralizer, which is just a little gadget that makes noodles out of your veggies, and I was able to just run it through like this. And again, my cutting glove keeps my hands safe, and it makes perfect chips every time.
I can't wait to try that.
Me neither. So I think you guys have an idea of what this is going to look like. So we'll just snap our fingers, and it's complete. Toss in a small amount of your favorite oil, bake at 350 degrees for 20 to 30 minutes, and flip halfway through. And this is the final product. We have our sweet potato chips, our beet chips, and our parsnip chips. Who wants to try them?
Me.
That one? Okay, try it. Tell me what you think.
I really want this one.
Okay, try that one.
Mmm.
You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you, Liv? Is it good? And so for our final recipe, dessert, we'll be doing Greek yogurt bark, which is super simple. You can use whatever yogurt, whatever mix-ins, whatever fruit, whether it be fresh or dried that you happen to have in the house. And it's this simple. You just take whatever yogurt you have kicking around, and I have ShopRite's vanilla Greek yogurt. Just add a couple dollops of that to some parchment paper and put it on any kind of cookie sheet that you have, and you just spread it around. And what I'll be using today is some strawberries that we had rinsed. We've taken the stems off and we just sprinkle those through the yogurt. And for this mini batch that we're doing right now, all we need is really 2 strawberries. And we already rinsed some blueberries, so we can add those in. And then finally we'll add some dark chocolate chips. And I like to add at least 50 to 60% cocoa in our chocolate chips to make sure that you have some health benefits from the chocolate chips. You can use whatever else you have in the kitchen. If you have some crushed pretzels at the bottom of the bag, if you have some granola, anything else that you have around, dried fruit, you can just toss it in. And when you're happy with what you've added in, you just throw it in the freezer for a few hours or overnight. And we'll show you what that looks like when it's done. All right, so I think it's been long enough to check on our bark. Girls, how's it look?
It looks so yummy.
Do you want to try it?
Yeah. It looks dangerously delicious.
Right now?
Yes.
Okay, we're ready for bed, but we're still gonna give it a try.
Oh my gosh, it's so cold.
It's supposed to be really cold. What do you think?
I think I love it.
I love it too. I hope you guys love it at home. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Have a great weekend.
Action. I'm Mommy, and I am a dietitian. Yum.
Granola that you haven't gotten to. Oakley, knock it off. Since when does she do this?
Cold. Okay, it's yummy. This is
No.
Brent, stop eating the food.
this
We're going to open.
Stop. Yummy. It does taste yummy. Ooh, I want to try that, Mommy. Testing.
Testing, 1, 2.
1, 2. I want
Okay, that's enough.
a pie.
Really? No.
Mm.
Is that good?